What's happening, friends? Christopher here. This is the Hopezy Life, and in this video I wanted to create kind of a new introduction to the project that can sort of help people that are unfamiliar with it understand exactly what it is that we're doing here. So hopezy.life is the website, and the project itself is my effort at sharing how I've used hope to make my life easier and ultimately a life of peace, of joy, and service to others. And so it's a multifaceted project. There's a lot of, layers to it, a lot of different means by which it's kind of growing and moving. In a sense, it's a decentralized organization, but of course, I am the guy spearheading it. A big impetus for the project that sort of crystallized it was losing my brother Matthew, sadly, to suicide towards the end of 2023. Now, I had been wanting to use my own personal experience with chronic depression, multiple medications. I started, expressing thoughts of taking my own life around the age of 4. I started acting on them around the age of 12. I did things that removed other people from this life, and thankfully, I'm still here. I dealt with severe addiction to drugs and alcohol. I'm approaching 9 years sober today, and I've been in jail in 3 different states due to the aforementioned issues. Now, where I sit today, having swam through these waters, puts me in a unique position to help other people that may be struggling at somewhere similar along that path. Again, losing my brother in the way that I did completely solidified who I am as a man and my purpose for the rest of my life, which is, again, to spread hope and help people make their lives easier. And my, broad philosophical thinking is that, one, we're all interconnected in ways words cannot explain. And the more of us who live with a sense of hope, who find life easy, the better we're going to make the world for everyone. And regardless of what anyone happens to believe, we all share this planet. And fundamentally, it's kind of a binary choice. We either figure out how to live together or we don't. And I think hope is something we can unify around. We can understand that each of us as individuals has grown over the course of our lives. We've acquired talents, we've acquired means by which that we can make our own individual existence and that of those we love better. And if we all just sort of really focused on that, the old, Eastern tradition, I'm not sure exactly who to attribute it to, but the way to clean up the world is to start with your back porch. And so I'm getting a little bit off topic, but again, hopezy.life, the Hopezy Life, is a project designed to not only generate hope, but also to generate resources to put into the hands of those that are looking to spread that hope. And so there's also, attached to the Hopezy Life, again, like I mentioned, many facets, there's a crypto project called Pandy. Now, it's called Pandy because my brother had a stuffed animal, a stuffed panda, that he received around 1 year of age and kept it his entire life. And so Pandy, the crypto project, is sort of a synthesis of, my silly hippiness, crypto meme culture, my brother's love of Pandy, my love of my brother, all kind of rolled into this little meme. And it's a small crypto project. We've been around, around 9 months, give or take. But we're not going anywhere. Again, part of the Hopezy Life, this is a project that's going to exist until, it should hopefully ideally exist beyond my last breath, but at least that long. And so that's a piece of it. Other aspects of the Hopezy Life, of course, social media presence. We're on most platforms, relatively, modest, if not mediocre following at this point, but that's no big deal. Obviously, we're doing mostly unedited videos. This one I am going to do just some editing too, for the sake of it being the intro video. We'll put some captions on it and such like that. But most of my videos are intentionally unedited because I think we need to take our attention spans back. We've allowed them to be hijacked with a lot of quick cuts and quick edits and sound effects and all these types of things that really hijack our attention. And so my videos are just my tiny little bit to go against that. Also, we've got various other aspects of creativity. I have been sort of a bedroom producer, audio engineer, whatever you want to call it, for a long time, starting in the late 90s with a little program called Fruity Loops. Various ebbs and flow to my creativity, various levels of prolific production, if you will. Last year, I've kind of made a decent focus to produce some new music, did some new techniques, and it's up in the air. Some of it good, some of it less good, but it's all out there. Some of my older stuff as well. And I also write. Recently wrote an ontological allegory and metaphysical autobiography. It is The Ascent of the Silent Whole. You can read it for free on hopezy.life, or there's also a Kindle version and soon to be a paperback version as of this recording. So that's something that I'm quite proud of as well. Again, it's my effort to show how you can use creativity to fuel that hope and again, fuel that easy life. And part of, my story to talk about again is based on the life that I lived, that very self-destructive, self-loathing life for such a long time. I didn't set myself up well in this life. I've had many opportunities to achieve sort of a material level of success, but because of my self-destructive nature, I've squandered every one of those opportunities. And this project itself is going to demonstrate how anyone, regardless of their current circumstances, can utilize technology in a way to really turn their life into whatever they choose to make their life to be. And this is why I also work with folks one-on-one in a coaching capacity as far as self-authoring their own life. Because from my perspective, our lives are the story we tell ourselves about ourselves. And as we know from eyewitness testimonies of crimes, our memories aren't 100% true. I have an example of being 16, getting in a car accident, and one of the witnesses, what they said was there was two people in the car. The vehicle was a different type of car than what it actually was, and it was also a different color than what it actually was. They had all of those things completely wrong, but they watched it happen. It was quite bizarre to me, but a good example of what I'm talking about, and that is the story we tell ourselves about our lives is not entirely true. There's elements of fiction to it. There's framing that we can redo. And so what I do is I work with folks on how to reframe the events that happen to them. Think of like a superhero. Every superhero, how did they get their powers? By something, quote unquote, bad, right? Something negative. They got hit by lightning. They got bit by a spider. They fell in a pool of radiation. But it's how those things were alchemized into creating their future, creating the means by which they were of service to others. They were helping the less fortunate, the less able, the less capable. And I think the world we live in would be so much more beautiful if we all adopted that mindset, right? One of my favorite quotes is, "The world is made great when old men plant trees whose shade they'll never see," or something like that. And that's what I intend to do, again, for the rest of my life in Hopezy Life, the Hopezy Life, hopezy.life, the website. That's the means by which I'm going to do it. Again, be as creative as I possibly can, spread hope in as many ways as I possibly can, be of service in my real life, give generously to charity, ultimately create charities of our own that fit within the ethos of spreading hope and ending despair, and create a financial means through cryptocurrency by which we can multiply the resources of those of us who believe in this vision. And so that, I guess in sort of a nutshell, is the Hopezy Life. And I guess that being said, I truly appreciate you. Again, my name is Christopher, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Peace.